Now with the Diddy trial finally being over, a lot of people are starting to revisit one simple question. What celebrities really partied with Diddy? Over the past year, but especially these last few weeks, dozens of well-known names have been brought up in connection to him. But not all of them were just industry acquaintances. A lot of them, I would say most, did party with Diddy. So I did a little bit of, digging. I went through old interviews, footage, party lists, and, some photos. And I put together a list of over 30 celebrities who were seen at his parties, appeared in event footage, or had well-documented social ties to Diddy over the years. Now, just to clarify, these weren't necessarily the infamous, private parties you've heard about. Most of these moments are actually more formal, more public, but it still, paints a picture of who was in Diddy's orbit. Let's start off with a bang, Justin Bieber. Back in 2010, Justin was just 15 years old and already one of the biggest young pop stars in the world. And around that time, Diddy took a serious interest in him. We're not talking about a quick photo op or a studio session. Diddy publicly said he was spending 48 hours straight with Justin. He even promised him a Lamborghini. The two were seen together at events, in studios, and in interviews, with Diddy referring to Bieber as one of the greatest kids he's ever known. But what stood out wasn't just the cosign, it was how personal it got. At one point on live TV, Diddy joked that he and Bieber don't talk about what they do together when the cameras are on. Most people laughed it off at the time, but looking back now, a lot of people are revisiting that moment with fresh eyes. As Bieber got older, their public connection faded, but the timeline is there. Early fame, heavy industry exposure, and a relationship with one of music's most powerful figures. In the years since, Justin has spoken about the darker side of his early career. He's talked about being surrounded by people who didn't have his best interests at heart, without naming names. Today, he's remained silent on everything surrounding Diddy. No posts, no support, just distance. One of the few confirmed moments of them partying together came when Diddy handed Justin his first shot of alcohol at the age of 21 on camera. Since then, their dynamic has faded from the public eye, and for two people who used to be seen together so often, that shift hasn't gone unnoticed. Diddy and Justin were close, no question about it. They were seen together at industry events, studio sessions, and interviews. And Diddy always made sure to include Justin in whatever he had going on at the time. From gifting him a bad boy jacket to bringing him on stage, it was clear he wasn't just showing love from a distance, he was actively bringing him into his world. Number 2 on the list, Usher. Now a lot of people don't realize this, but back in the early 90s, Usher actually lived with Diddy for a period of time. In 1992, when Usher was just 14 years old, he moved into a house with Diddy and a group of adults. At the time, Diddy was around 23, already working his way up in the music industry. Usher stayed there for about a year, and while the move was meant to help him get a feel for the business, it also placed him in an environment that, looking back, raises a few eyebrows.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
Now the question I have is what the hell was a child doing in a house with a 23-year-old Diddy? I don't know, and according to Usher, his parents didn't even know about this, right? Usher kind of told the story in a way where he was saying, hey, they were teaching him the ropes of the music industry, like he was getting mentored by Diddy and some other people, and getting a taste of the lifestyle. He did state that he had seen some interesting things inside that house.
It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
So I don't really know what those things that Usher seen were, but we could obviously use our imagination. We're talking about Diddy, right? So Usher was, very close. Sounds wrong when I say this, but he was very close with Diddy early on, okay? And they kept on developing a relationship and, just stayed connected over the decades. And I'm guessing this is how Justin came into contact with Diddy, because Usher was the person who discovered JB initially and signed him. Number 3 on the list, we have Jennifer Lopez. Now, back in the late 90s, J-Lo wasn't just showing up to Diddy's parties. She was pulling up as his plus one, as his girlfriend. They dated from 1999 to 2001 and were one of the industry's biggest power couples. Red carpets, music videos, club appearances, wherever Diddy went, J-Lo was right there. But the relationship didn't last. In a 2003 interview with Vibe, she revealed that Diddy's infidelity was the reason they broke up. Still, during that era, Jenny from the Block, or J-Lo, wasn't just showing up to the parties. She was right in the middle of Diddy's empire at his peak in the late 90s. Since J-Lo was so close to Diddy and they were literally together during some of his most high-profile years, it's safe to say that she saw a lot. Whether it was industry events, after parties, or private celebrations, she wasn't just around, she was part of the inner circle. She did eventually distance herself from Diddy and went on to build her own empire, musically, commercially, and personally. But over the years, there's still been some moments where they reunited publicly. Whether it was a brief run-in or a social media shout-out, Diddy always made sure to show her love. The admiration never really faded, at least not from his side. Number 4 on the list, we have Cassie. Now, I'm sure most people already know about the story behind Cassie's connection to Diddy, but for the people who don't, Cassie wasn't just someone who partied with Diddy. She was in a long-term relationship with him that lasted over a decade. They first met in 2005 when she was just 19 years old. By 2007, they were officially together. During that time, she was by his side constantly, at the all-white parties in the Hamptons, industry events, private gatherings, and the FOs, aka freak-offs. If Diddy was there, chances are Cassie was too. But behind the scenes, it wasn't as glamorous as it looked. In the trial, which has now ended, Cassie was confirmed as a key witness, at the center of the many allegations Diddy is facing today. After their split in 2018, Cassie moved on and stayed silent, until she wasn't. Her lawsuit became one of the first major turning points in the storm surrounding Diddy. Their relationship started under the spotlight, but it ended with accusations that would change everything for both of them. Number 5, we have LeBron James. Now, LeBron has been spotted with Diddy in a few different scenarios. We're talking industry events, private gatherings, etc. They've been rolling in the same circles for quite some time. And there was really no confirmation that LeBron ever partied with Diddy until he said the following.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Number 6, we have Machine Gun Kelly. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, MGK is someone who's been very tight with Diddy throughout his time in the industry. Back in 2011, after building a major buzz on his own, MGK caught Diddy's attention. Diddy approached him and offered him a deal through Bad Boy Records under the major label that is Interscope Records. MGK signed, and from that point, he became one of the few newer artists directly under Diddy's wing. Since Diddy discovered MGK early on, he took on a mentor role. They built a real bond, and naturally MGK became part of that inner party circle as well. In one interview, MGK even talked about partying with Diddy for 2 days straight when he was just 20 years old. According to him, they hit 9 different nightclubs back to back to back. That alone tells you what kind of lifestyle he was stepping into under Diddy's guidance.
It's New Year's Eve. This motherfucker he takes me to 9 fucking clubs, and this lasted for 2 days.
Aside from that, MGK has in the past spoken about the Diddy parties publicly by saying the following.
You know why Puff's parties are so cool, man? Because you can't get into the party. It doesn't matter what the fuck's going on in the party. Nothing cool is going on in the party. It's a party. But you can't, for some fucking reason, at his party, you can't get into his party. So now what do you want to do? Get into that man's party and see what the fuck all the hubbub's about. So right now, I have a do not fucking enter sign on Machine Gun Kelly, man.
Number 7, we got Kid Cudi. For anyone who's been in the dark about this one, Cudi's name actually came up in the Diddy case, and the story was wild. According to Cassie's testimony, at one point during her relationship with Diddy, she tried to step away and reportedly began seeing Kid Cudi. When Diddy found out, he allegedly threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car, and not long after, Cudi's car did explode in his driveway. This story was shocking to a lot of people, not just because of how specific it was, but because it was confirmed by Kid Cudi's own spokesperson. This story definitely shook up a lot of people. What most people don't know though is that the two eventually made peace. There's been clips of them attending the same events and sharing space publicly years later. And even though their history is complicated, the two were clearly able to move past whatever tension existed behind the scenes. Now at number 8 on this list we have Drewski. Unlike a lot of other names on this list, there's no concrete proof that Drewski ever partied with Diddy, at least not in the way people might assume. But his name did come up earlier this year in a lawsuit, where he was accused of doing something inappropriate to a woman alongside Diddy and Odell Beckham Jr. Drewski responded quickly, denying the allegations completely and called the story fabricated. Whether it was true or not, we don't really know, but what we do know is this. Drewski has been connected to Diddy for a while now. He's been close with Diddy's sons for a while and has been seen in media content involving the family, and a few years back, even did a skit with Diddy, showing a certain level of comfort and access. Drewski has gone on record denying that he ever attended the more infamous Diddy parties that he's been associated with in the past. Still, his presence around the circle can't be ignored, even if he's never been directly tied to anything beyond media and social settings.
Were you at any of the Diddy parties, or did you miss that?
What the where did that come from? How did that? Of all questions.
When did you miss that train?
How did that go?
You left early? You left early?
No, that was down the street from me. I wasn't there. No.
I don't really know how close Drewski and Diddy actually were, but he definitely seemed comfortable around him, especially in that little skit they did a few years back. But as far as how deep their relationship was, I can't really say, right? Maybe he was just around through mutual connections. Maybe he was at one of those parties. We don't know for sure. But what we do know is that he's been in the mix in some type of way, right? At number 9, we have Kanye West. Now, Kanye and Diddy have known each other since the early 2000s. These are some of the biggest names in hip-hop, so it's no surprise they've been spotted together at events, studios, and parties over the years. One of the more notable moments came in 2005 when Diddy pulled up to celebrate Kanye's 28th birthday. That was right around the time Kanye was becoming a global star. Their relationship hasn't been in the spotlight, but the mutual respect has clearly always been there. And like many other on the list, Kanye's presence at key events shows just how connected he's been to Diddy's world. He did also say free Diddy a few months back, as most of y'all probably know. At number 9 and 10, we have Jay-Z and Beyonce. Now this one's interesting because over the years, both Jay and Beyonce have been accused of being connected to Diddy's so-called shenanigans. And after everything surrounding Diddy came to light, their names were some of the first people online started pointing fingers at. And how true are the allegations? Honestly, we don't know, and we probably never will. What we do know is that Jay-Z and Beyonce have been close to Diddy for a long time. I can't say how deep that connection runs behind the scenes, but considering they're all A-list powerhouses in music, fashion, and business, it's no surprise they've been spotted at these same events, in the same circles, multiple times. Whether it's award shows, parties, or private industry functions, they've shared space more than once. So while the details might be unclear, the connection is definitely there. Most notably, back in 2004, all three of them, Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyonce, attended a major fashion award show together. That night transitioned into an exclusive after party, where they were all seen celebrating under the same roof. Aside from that fashion event, Jay-Z and Beyonce also attended Diddy's 50th birthday party a few years ago. Now by that point, Diddy already had a certain reputation in the industry, so when clips started resurfacing of Jay-Z and Beyonce showing up to celebrate with him, a lot of people online were like, wait a minute, y'all were rocking with Diddy like that? At number 11, we have Pharrell. Now Pharrell is someone who pulled up to Diddy's 50th birthday party as well. And while I don't know the exact details of how close they really are, Pharrell and Diddy have been rolling in the same circles since the late 90s. They've attended the same events, worked with the same artists, and even made music together. Diddy has publicly called Pharrell a musical genius on several occasions, and that kind of praise usually doesn't come without some real connection behind the scenes. So while I can't say how deep the relationship goes, there's definitely been mutual respect between them for a long time. At number 12, we have Leonardo. As soon as my women turn 25, I drop him DiCaprio. Leo's not someone you typically associate with the hip-hop world, but he's another name who's been spotted at one of Diddy's all-white parties back in the 2000s. From the looks of it, Leo keeps his distance publicly. But the fact that he showed up to one of Diddy's most exclusive events says he wasn't too far removed from that circle. At number 13, we have the Kardashians, who became connected to Diddy mainly through Kanye, especially during the years he was heavily involved with both the family and the industry's inner circle. Over the years, Kim, Khloe, and Kylie have all been seen at Diddy's events, whether it was one of his infamous all-white parties or one of the more exclusive, star-studded private gatherings. They weren't just popping in once. It's clear that for a while, they were part of the extended circle around Diddy during some of his most high-profile years. At number 14, we have Russell Simmons, co-founder of Def Jam and a music industry heavyweight. Russell and Diddy weren't just friends. They moved in the same circles, partied together, and even worked together in business over the years. When Diddy's iconic all-white parties kicked off in the early 2000s, Russell Simmons was right there. From the Hamptons to Beverly Hills, he was a regular face at those events. A lot of people have been speculating that he might have been one of the next names to go down along with Diddy. Russell's been in a powerful position in the music industry for decades, and let's just say his reputation isn't exactly spotless. There's been conversations about his behavior for years, and with everything going on around Diddy, people have started connecting the dots. At number 15, we have Mariah Carey. Like a lot of other major celebrities, Mariah was a regular at Diddy's all-white parties during the 2000s. She showed up often, dressed to kill, and always matched the glamorous vibe Diddy was known for. But their connection didn't stop at parties. Mariah and Diddy also linked up musically, moving in the same industry circles, collaborating with the same artists, and sharing mutual respect as two extremely successful figures in music. At number 16, we have Paris Hilton. I'm sure most people know about Paris, especially if you grew up in the 2000s. She was arguably one of the biggest celebrities of that era at one point. She was first seen with Diddy all the way back in 1999, during the very first edition of his now infamous all-white parties. Diddy's always shown her love, publicly praising her over the years, calling her iconic, and embracing the way she carried herself as a brand long before social media took over. Their connection might have surprised people at the time, but in Diddy's world, fame always recognizes fame. Now at number 16, we have Rick Ross. Now Ross and Diddy have been cool since the early 2000s as well. Things really started heating up around 2006 when Hustlin' blew up and sparked a bidding war for Ross. He eventually signed with Jay-Z over at Def Jam, but even after that, Ross and Diddy kept a strong connection. Over the years, they'd done a lot of business together, most notably with Ciroc, where Ross was one of the biggest celebrity faces tied to the brand. And when it comes to Diddy's parties, Ross has always been a regular. Whether it's at the all-white parties, birthdays, or New Year's Eve events, he's definitely been in the building. At number 17, we got Drake. Drake's relationship with Diddy has always been a little complicated. On one hand, they've worked together, collaborated on music, shared studio time, and even moved in the same industry circles. On the other end, however, there's been some other things that have happened. Back in 2009, Drake was spotted at Diddy's 2009 New Year's Eve party in Miami, which became one of the most talked about industry events during that time. So yeah, Drake has definitely partied with Diddy, but things haven't always been smooth. In 2014, reports surfaced that Diddy and Drake had an altercation at a nightclub, and word on the street is that Diddy allegedly slapped Drake over it. They eventually squashed that tension, so their relationship has obviously had a lot of ups and downs. Still, Drake is one of those names that's been constantly seen in Diddy's orbit, both musically and socially. At number 18 on the list, we got Meek Mill. Now, Meek's name has come up alongside Diddy's a lot over the years, and that's because they've been very close. Some people might say that maybe they've been a little too close. They've partied together, attended each other's private events, and publicly shown love more than once. But one moment that really had people talking was when Diddy was caught on camera calling Meek daddy. So yeah, that clip right there is it's out there, okay? And I'm not making any accusations. It's not what this video is about, right? But let's just say when a grown man starts calling another grown man daddy, makes you raise your eyebrows, right?
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy.
So Meek Mill's and Diddy's connection is real, no doubt about that. And Meek has definitely been a part of Diddy's inner circle for years. And also too, we do have that leaked audio of Diddy apparently clapping Meek's cheeks. I don't know if that's real. I don't think it's real. I really don't know. But it sounds pretty real. I mean, gotta be some good ass AI if it's fake, right? And then at 19 and 20, we have Cardi B and Offset, who were most notably invited to his 50th birthday party in 2019. At that point, they were one of the biggest couples in hip hop, and Diddy made sure they had a seat at the table. Their presence made headlines, and it showed just how connected Diddy was to the newer generation of rap stars. At number 21, 22, and 23, we have 2 Chainz, Big Sean, and Jhené Aiko, who also were among the guests. These are artists who've been in the game for a while and have crossed paths with Diddy in different ways over the years, whether through mutual collaborators, events, or simply being a part of that upper tier circle in music. At number 24, 25, and 26, we have Travis Scott, Post Malone, and The Weeknd, 3 global stars who represented a more modern sound, but still made the cut for Diddy's 50th birthday bash. At number 27, we got Jaden Smith, who's also been seen at some of Diddy's more private events. And while he's more known for doing his own thing, he's grown up in the industry, and it's no surprise that someone like Diddy would have known him from way back. At number 28, we got Dr. Dre, another celebrity who's pulled up on Diddy. We don't know exactly how much he's partied with him beyond the 50th birthday celebration, but the fact that he showed up says a lot. At number 29, we got Chris Brown, who was seen at Diddy's all-white parties years before the 50th birthday celebration. He's one of those names that's been around Diddy socially for a very long time, often appearing at high-profile events and private functions alongside Diddy. At number 30 and 31, we got Rev Run and Tommy Lee. Both of them were spotted at Diddy's all-white parties back in the day. Rev Run, known for being 1/3 of the legendary Run DMC, was seen attending one of those iconic Hampton parties back in the day, showing that even the OGs were in the mix. And then we have Tommy Lee, who's the drummer from Motley Crue and a rock star in his own right. He also pulled up on Diddy. It just goes to show how far Diddy's reach extended, beyond hip-hop, beyond R&B, into every corner of pop culture. And there you have it, an extensive list of over 30 celebrities who partied with Diddy. If you made it this far, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Drop a like on it if you enjoyed it. And if you're new here, my name is Blacky Speaks, digital handshake. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and subscribe if you're new here. By the way, I'm not saying that any of these names are guilty of anything, but what I am saying is that they're in the mix, whatever that means to you. I was just interested in this topic, and I was like, I'm sure other people might be interested in, who's partied with Diddy, right? Obviously. Anyway, what do you guys think about this topic? Were there any names that you guys thought were unexpected? Y'all let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys there. But most importantly of all, I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. I'm out. This is Billy, man. Peace.